I've come back out here to try a little test again with this Thermacell. Now this is after a rain, and it's come a rain last night. It's moist, and I ain't lit this Thermacell yet, but I'm in the woods. I walked up into the woods, and what better place to test this? Of course, again, this is up, it's afternoon, I think, but it's would be better if it's right at dark. But what I want to do is I want to test this thing again, and to make sure that we get a good test on the Thermacell. I'm not going to light this. I'm going to put it together, but I'm not going to light it till I see if I'm having problems with mosquitoes. And I've done saw one or two, but now that so far they've not bit me or anything. So I'll get the pad out. There's nothing on it. There's nothing on this pad right now. And I'm going to open the first time I opened the one that they sent with this thing. And this time I'm going to open one out of the pack that I ordered along with it, and to see if they should be identical. They should be identical. I don't know what'll get me. Mosquitoes. I don't know whether it will be chiggers or ticks or what, but this is going to be the coolest days. One reason I come out here, the next 15 days or 14 days, it looks like, there's going to be in the high to 80s to 90s, mostly the 90s. Spiders, that's something else to aggravating this time of year and in the fall too. Come on, skeeters, where you at? I'm not going to light that Thermacell if the mosquitoes don't bite me. I'm not even going to waste a pad. Actually, down in the evening, early of the morning, and down in the evening, a lot of times. That's why I got in here where it's still damp and kind of moist area. Perfect place for mosquitoes. I've used this Thermacell. I put it out on the porch a couple times since I got this, and I didn't see no mosquitoes. I tried some pyrethrin, and I mixed up some, just like I said, 5 to 1, and took the first pad that I had used, and I took a set of tweezers and dipped that down in it a time or two. I used it on the back porch, and it's like I say, no mosquitoes that I saw, no bites, nothing bothered me. So all I can say is this, and it's like I say, there's nothing in it right now, but every time I've took this out and used it, I've not had any problems with any mosquitoes biting me. We got piss ants falling out of the tree. Well, that's usually the way it goes. You get out here and you try to check something out, and you don't see no mosquitoes. That's all right. We won't light it if we don't. Rather than just lighting that and coming out here and setting it out and seeing the vapors and smoke come off of it and saying the mosquitoes ain't bothering me. I want the mosquitoes to be bothering me. I want them to be bothering me first, and then we will light it and see if it gets rid of them. I don't think you can, wouldn't be much of a test if we didn't do that. It's like the forest and the jungle in here. That's what it is, isn't it? Well, give it a few more minutes. If it don't work, we'll try another location. It's hot. I mean, I'm hot, and they say that carbon dioxide that draws mosquitoes, black shirts draw mosquitoes. I don't know. I seen one. I thought it was a mosquito. It may have been something else a while ago. You know, it's been pretty dry. I don't know a thing about mosquitoes. I'm no mosquito expert, but I know it's been dry, and it takes moisture and water for them. Right, here we go. Here they come. There he is. Yeah, there he is. Right there on my hand. Oh yeah, he's here. We ain't gonna have to move. Now I can light this. Go on. I don't even want to bet by you one time. But yeah, they're coming in. Yeah, right here, flying around my head. So we'll fire this baby up, and I'll be bit, I'd say, before this gets hot enough to run them off. But yeah, I seen them. They're here. They are here. So we'll go ahead and open this and get it ready. I was hoping that I figured, Lord have mercy. I started to say a while ago, I said, I'm no expert at mosquitoes, but I can tell you one thing, it's been dry, and maybe that's why they're here. Maybe that's why that they're not, I don't know if you can see them or not in the camera. I'll move a little right here. Yeah, they're around. It'll take 10, 15 minutes for this to warm up. It sure will. I'll set her right there in front of me. See if I can't keep them from biting me till that kicks in. Well, I'm glad they showed up. There, right here. Right here. Right here. If I can get it to. It landed on me. I held my hand out while ago. It landed on me. I don't know where it went. They're hard for me to see. They start buzzing around your face. You can see them. Yeah. But now I know they're here. I know one landed on me right here and was going to bite me, and I shoot him off. So, and then I lit this, as you saw, and after this gets to going, then we'll sit here for a few minutes and get this situated where its smoke's going in the right direction, and we'll see if the little boogers get run off. Oh, we'll see if that dome gets built. I'll tell you one thing. Just like I said, every time I've used this and been out putting it to the test and trying it, I've not been bit by a mosquito. Not been bit by a mosquito. Right here. Right here, it's on my leg right now. Right here, right here. Mosquito, right there. Right there. Go on, get out of here. Yeah, it's there. We'll see. Yeah, they're coming in, so this will be a test. Come on, baby, get that thing smoking. Get the smoke in here. It's starting just a little. It's starting a little. They wear me out, and mosquitoes do, when they start biting. I can't stand them. Itch, itch. I think, as usual, they sneak in behind you, where you can't see them, I guess. I like to know if stuff like this works. I want to know if it works. Now this is starting a pretty good little whiff here. Seems like it's flowing up the hill here. Yeah, it's flowing up. I'll set it right there where I can see it better. Yeah, it's kind of coming toward me. I'm right in a pile of old rotted down wood, and perfect place for them. In this little drain that runs up behind me, all this undergrowth, moist, ground wet. So like I say, it's a perfect place, perfect time for them to be out. I mean, of an evening would be better. It's moist, humid. Humidity. Put my arms right out here where they can get me. Now see, that's blowing, kindly going this way. And it's going right in front of my leg that way. So how could it possibly work? It needs to be here where it's blowing by me. That would be better there. You gotta watch the smoke on them things. You don't have to. There's a little breeze blowing right now. So if you've got that located in a place that it kind of blows the smoke away from you, hey. Now it's coming right up beside me. It'll do what it's gonna do, that's all I can say. What in the dickens is that? It's untelling what kind of critters will get on you sitting here. Yeah, and I can get a whiff of that now. I would assume the mosquitoes will be gone here in a minute. Actually, I ain't saw that one no more. Unless he's on my back biting me. I think right now, or when I left the house, it was like 78 degrees, but the humidity is high. And that just makes it worse, don't it? But I remember going squirrel hunting years ago. And early of a morning and of an evening, right before dark. Whew, they'd be buzzing all the way around your head. You couldn't be still because you was batting mosquitoes out of your face, and them a buzzing around your ears. I finally got me a mosquito net, and that suffocates you, even though it's a net, like a screen. It'd suffocate you to death because it's hot. It's hot in August. Squirrel season used to open up in August. I don't know when it opens up now. You know, I like getting out in the wood, but now this time of year, with all this undergrowth on the ground, you can't see the ground good. You'd be on a copperhead or a rattlesnake. And it just ain't, it ain't my time of year. I like the fall time. All this leaves and stuff die down, and that's when I like getting out. But anyway, I'm sitting here rambling again, and I should be talking about something important. Yeah, it's smoking pretty good now. I'll hold it up here where you can see it, like you've never saw one of these before. You can see the smoke, but it's kind of going that way. Moves around a little bit. I just want to see. There's one of the main reasons I'm doing this, for my own curiosity. But I've seen other people talking bad about these little Thermacells. And this simply stating that it's a waste of money and a waste of time. When I see that, and then I see other people, just like I said earlier in the previous video, that some people swear by them. And then some, oh, they don't work, you know. So I'm wondering why. There's got to be something's causing it. Something's causing it not to work. Or just like when I came out here this time. I mean, there wasn't no mosquitoes bothering me. I sat here till I seen them start landing on me. Then light it, and that way I guess you could get a test. And since I've lit that, just a few minutes after I lit it, well, you this saw it. That mosquito that was buzzing around here, actually a couple of them, is no longer, I don't see them. They're no longer bothering me. They're no longer flying around here. See, that smoke's coming right up through here. Anyway, I'm not doing this, running a sales pitch on this Thermacell. This is satisfy my curiosity. That's all it is. And if it works, and it has so far, and it's working right now, as far as I'm concerned. There's a spider, a little spider crawling up through there. Spiders, snakes, chiggers, ticks, mosquitoes. It's just that time. I don't know if anybody else, I get to thinking about stuff like that. Anything that can crawl and bite on you, blood-sucking critters and chiggers. I get to think about chiggers, and they'd eat you up, boy. And there wouldn't be a thing on you. Just your nerves, I guess, or I don't know what it is. You're talking about mosquitoes and no-see-ums and stuff, and once they start eating me up, I'm thinking, I don't see nothing. I guess it's your mind runs away with you or something. I don't know what it is. But in the fall time, other than in spider webs strung across the paths every day that you go in and out for a while, I just put 2 sticks in front of my four-wheeler. Put me 2 sticks out in front of me, up, 4 foot, so 5. And as I'm driving, they hit the spider webs and just turn it down. Now, I seen a little something flying around my hat here. I don't know if it was a skeeter or not. I'll tell you one thing. They talk about this as repel stuff in a zone of like a 15-foot radius. If a mosquito is coming through here, and if he comes in, he's going to have to come in to get a whiff of that to get out of here. So I don't, it's not like you're under a big saran wrap dome here that they can't get through. They can come in. Thing of it is, when they get a whiff of that, they should be gone. Unless they grow to like it, I don't know. I do know that I see something fly every once in a while, but it's too fast for a mosquito. I don't know. I ain't worried about it. I'm not worried about what it is. I just don't want them biting me. No, there's nothing bothering me. No mosquitoes so far. I'm gonna have to find a infested place of mosquitoes somewhere. They're usually worse around here than they are right now. Let's move this a little bit because it's beginning to get under my skin here. See, that smoke's moving that way. This breeze, little air movement. I think it'd do better where it's at here. Maybe let's set it back here. Set it right on that log, and it'll fall off. How about setting it right back where I had it? Seems to be working pretty good there. It's working. No mosquitoes has bit me, but boy, they was about to. They were about to. They sure were. They were about to bite me. I'm sitting on a crooked milk carton here. It's leaning me over the hill, something awful. Maybe I can get right there, might be better. Seems like a little better there. Whew. It's just muggy. They say if you live in a place like that where the humidity's high and all the stuff like that, that you kind of get used to it and it don't bother you as bad. I can't get used to it. Of course, now if you stay in the house, it's coming right up my face. I can't stand that. So if it does a 15-foot radius, it ought to be just fine right there. If you're in a house where it's air conditioned and you stay in there, you get kind of tempered into that drier air, cooler, drier air. It can spoil you. And then when you come outside, it just makes it that much worse. I think what a person would be better off if he had a swamp cooler. It's got to be dry, though, I think. You'd have to move to Arizona. It sure ain't dry in this part of the country. It gets so hazy you can't see the mountains sometimes. I don't know whether it's when you just start focusing in your mind on something like these mosquito repellent devices. Let's see, that's a blowing that way. It's better down lower, I can tell you right now. I believe it'd be the lower you can get that to the ground, the better off you'll be. Anyway, getting back to what I started to say, once you start looking and focusing on these mosquito repelling devices, then you start seeing, of course we know how the internet is. If you ever search for something or mention something, they just start popping up like mushrooms. Everywhere, different kinds and all that stuff. But I didn't realize there was so many. It's like anything else. If someone designs something that's functional and works, then they start coming out of the woodwork. Well, I can make that, I can do that. All we have to do is change that a little. We can change that a little and we can patent it different. We could come in and we can make just a few little changes and make the top a little rectangle instead of square or whatever. And we can patent it. I don't know exactly how that works. That's the same way that they do with the Bible. That's why there's so many versions or perversions or whatever you want to call them. I know, as well as most other people know, that all the Bible, even the King James, it's translated. I think that's the closest one. The Authorized King James Version Bible, I think that's the closest one to the true scriptures that we'll probably ever find. And then, of course, you've got others that come in that change the wording and leave whole sentences and paragraphs out. Just leave them out. I forget, I had read previously years ago that they have to change that book so much to recopyright it or whatever they do to them. And of course, it's like I say, it's like anything else. The King James Version, the Holy Bible, #1 seller, #1 bestseller in books. That's what I've heard. I don't dive into the selling of books and stuff. I don't know, but I'm just saying what I heard. So if it's a #1 seller, common logic will tell you that every Tom, Dick, and Harry that has the ability to get in and dive in to get their share of it will definitely do that. So in order to do that, they're going to have to change something. If they didn't change the Bible, it would be just a copy of the original, but they have to change it. Well, let me tell you something. They have definitely picked the wrong book to start changing, because if they'll go to the end of Revelation and read the last couple of paragraphs, it's got some real good news for them. So they're flirting with disaster. It's just exactly like organic food. They come out several years back, and organic. Everything was organic, man. And I agree. I mean, that's the best, you know. I think it was Japan, pretty sure it was, that would pay extra money for produce with bug bites in it, because their way of thinking that if the bugs is eating it, then it ain't got poison on it, whatever, they'd pay more for that. Here, everything's got to be pristine and look picture perfect. I'm not buying that. That's got a bug bite on it or whatever. You know, a bug bite in a leaf. That's if that bothers people, then you know they need to. I don't know. I don't know what they need to do. I've sat and watched my mother take apples that would get off the trees and sit there and peel those apples and cut around worm holes and stuff like that. And she'd have another pail over here, and a lot of times the basket that she was throwing the cores and the peelings and the cutouts of worm holes and stuff like that, bug bites, whatever, in it would be fuller than her bowl that she was doing. But at the end of the day, when she got done, she had a big, nice bowl of apples. And you could just let them rot and let the worms finish them up. Or you can go buy you some apples that's been sprayed and fumigated and every day or two. Getting back to the organic part of it, everybody was after organic meat, organic chicken, organic eggs, free-range eggs, everything. You know the story. Well, it's hard to grow stuff organic. It's hard to. And merely impossible it would be to grow it on a scale large enough to feed the nations. So, in order for the food apparatus, the food companies, to get their share of that organic produce, they've got buddies in high places, I suppose, But then they set it where they could allow to spray so much pesticides, or maybe it was a so limited amount of the poisons was allowed in a solution or a dilution of water, whatever they mixed it with, to spray stuff, but yet still call it organic. That's a lie. It's not organic. I don't care what they say. Just because some alphabet stew organization comes up and says, well, we're going to allow so much poisons in something, and we'll still consider it safe, and we'll allow you to call it organic, where you can dive in and get your little percentage of profit that you're taking away from somebody that's actually growing real organic and having to put 2 or 3 times the labor and work into it to come out with that organic food. They allow them to go ahead and spray the toxic chemicals and cocktails on the food and yet still call it organic. Fraud, bull crap is what it is. And that's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens. So now, when you want to go to the store and buy you some organics, the only difference you'll find will be the price. It'll be a lot higher, and you think it's organic. That's what I'm saying. The truth, the hardest thing that you'll find today is the truth. The truth. I have found one place that it's the best source of the truth that I can find, and it's called the Holy Bible. You'll find the truth there. And if you can't pull the truth out of that, and I'm not saying that everybody lies. I'm saying that it's hard to distinguish who is telling you the truth and who is lying to you. And as we know, there's good people. There's still a lot of good people out there. You got to know them. You got to really know them, or again, you'll be deceived. Deception. We know who the father of all deception and father of all lies is, right? Adam just handed it over to Lucifer. He just handed it over. Jesus come, died on a cross. He put it back in a motion that he settled it. We know where the end's at. We know the outcome of the end, what's going to happen in the end. But we don't know how long it's going to be from now till the end of things. I've thought several times, I said, when is the end? I mean, when will it be? It could be the day you take your last breath. That could be your end. Yep, that could be your end. There's a difference, though, in ending and rest. When people die, they say, well, they're dead, they've died. Well, it's just according. If their Savior is Jesus Christ, if they've accepted Jesus Christ, they're not dead. Their body, they're asleep. They call it asleep. It also says, be absent from the bodies, be present with the Lord. I've struggled and run that through my brain 1,000,000 times. And then, of course, I can listen to what everybody else says. And then, of course, I become a parrot. I just repeat what they say. I like to get the facts. I like to iron the facts out, get them, dig them out yourself, which sometimes takes a while. You won't do it in a split second. It takes a while to get these facts together. Here a little, there a little. Search in the scriptures. Here you'll find them. Here, there, a little. In the Bible, it'll interpret itself. You get running across something you don't understand, you just keep searching because the answer's in there. You run across a lot of parables that Jesus made, and people say, well, I don't know what that means. Well, keep a reading because he'll tell you. He tells you what most of them mean. Hey, Lord. That's a fact. That's the way I see it. That's my belief, and I think I'm right. I guess I'm like everybody else. I think I'm right. But when it comes to the Bible, there's no question in my mind I'm right. You've got one Savior, and his name's Jesus Christ. That's it. No more. No more. Of course, you'll be presented with all kind of stuff and all kind of lies. Again, we know who the father of all lies is. He's the one that tried to boast himself up and build himself up with his pride to be above the creator of everything. Well, that didn't work out so well for him. That didn't work out so well for him. You know, this, like I say, I know my ways is not God's ways. God's ways not my ways. His thoughts is way above my thoughts. But if I had to deal with something like the devil, like Lucifer, all I can say is his grace runs deep. And of course, this whole shebang in Genesis runs deep. It goes, you can dig in there, and I mean, it's pretty deep. And anyway, I can't explain it right. If I could, I'd be doing it, I guess. Sometimes I get on a roll. But as far as I'm concerned, it's truth. The Bible's true, and every word in it. I don't know the numbers, and I'm not even going to quote them, but there's several of them, of prophecies in the Bible. Well, like 80 to 80-something% of them is fulfilled exactly like the Bible said they'd be. And this Bible written hundreds of years, you know, before it happened. So you look at that and you think, well, if all those prophecies come true, have been fulfilled, why would you think that the rest of them won't be? That's not logical thinking, but I'll assure you they will. It'll happen. I don't know how it'll happen. I don't know which direction it'll come from, but I'll assure you that it'll happen. I might not be here. You might not be here when it does happen, but I'll assure you it will happen. And that's a fact. That's the way I feel about it. I think I'm right. And then you've got radicals that needs to get. They need to repent. They need to find Jesus Christ. What they need to do. I mean, I sometimes say that they're idiots. They've lost their mind. They've lost their way. They're blinded. Well, some are. For a while. I mean, I don't know how long, but something will wake them up, hopefully. You can't just go through life. Well, I guess you can. But it's not wise to go through life listening to what someone else tells you constantly. Sometimes you have to stand up and figure this out yourself. You have to do your due diligence. You have to search the scriptures. And the answers is in there. You can read a novel of Gone with the Wind or whatever you want to read, but one of the most important books that you'll ever come across is the Bible, the Holy Bible, preferably the King James, authorized King James Version. Sometimes even with it, I think the God makes sure that stays true. I know there's enough in there to get the point across. I don't know if King James and his court played with any of the words in the Bible, or sometimes. How would you like to give the Bible today? Let's say, for instance, we're going to make a translation, a new translation of the Bible. Let's say that who would you pick to? Well, I'll assure you, it'll be somebody with some authority or with some political clout that gets to do that. How would you like today to hand the King James Version Bible over to someone, or the scrolls and tablets or whatever, and have them to translate a new translation? A government more than likely will have their hands in it, I'll assure you. And they would alter and change things to fit their narrative. They're not thinking of you and your soul. They're thinking of how they can suppress someone, or how that they can put the fear in someone and make someone submissive to them. That's what I would be afraid of. But anyway, just like I say, I learned a long time ago, when you find the truth, seek no further truth. I found it in the King James Version Bible. I use the Authorized King James. Now, there's people out here that teach out of the New King James Version, and I'll agree, the New King James Version, I've looked at all of them over the years, and I've owned several different English Standard Version, NIV, and I found out about the NIV. I seen a lot of people early in my time using the NIV. Well, I got to doing a little research on the NIV. That thing, I mean, it's a perversion. There you go, a perversion of the real McCoy, as far as I'm concerned. I can't say original, but you know, I can say as close to it as probably you'll find, without being things in it completely omitted, left out, words, altered words from virgin to young lady. I mean, if you talk about a young woman having a baby, well, that could be, you know, that's just a young woman having a baby. If you talk about a virgin birth or a virgin having a child, that should catch your attention. But a lot of them change that. That takes away the supernatural part of it. And that's exactly what it seems to me like a lot of them try to do. Brother Duke at Rough Cut Homestead, he's doing some videos on the different translations and versions of the Bible. He's right on par. He knows exactly the deal. He knows exactly what's going on. And of course, it's good that he's doing that, because it gets people to thinking. If he wasn't probably doing that, I wouldn't probably be sitting here talking about it right now. It's good. You think a lot of times that you're not doing no good, but somebody listens. And if you can help one person line their path out into a straight path, you want to get them off this big, wide, broad path. They need to be on the narrow path, a pressing way. That's the path. And you know, the reason it's so wide, because if you try to do something biblical and speaking for the Lord, then people's gonna, oh, that big wide path, you'll start catching it from all them. Oh, Lord have mercy. You get on this narrow path, and a lot of times you'll find out that it's like being out here in the woods. I don't see nobody else around. On that narrow path, sometimes it seems like a lonesome path. Well, let me tell you, it ain't lonesome, and it's the right trail to be on, if that makes any sense at all. I'm not a preacher. Probably wouldn't be a very good teacher. I see a distraction down there, and it's called a squirrel. There's always something that'll be cast in front of you to distract you when you're trying to talk about something. Just don't look at it. Be like this talking about blinders on. I used to say a lot of times, you know, I've said, I don't know whether to get into that or not, but let's just put it this way. I've said a lot of times when people go to church, they need to have a big set of blinders on the side of their head like a mule, where they can't see but straight forward. They don't need to know what's going on over here, and they don't need to know what's going on over here. Of course, the way it is today, you better have eyes in the back of your head. The world's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's getting more corrupt daily. The Bible prophecy today is fulfilling itself daily. Yeah, I've heard people all my life say, one of these days it'll do this, and one of these days this will happen. One of these days there'll be a great earthquake. One of these days, oh, the earthquakes there'll be more earthquakes, and there'll be storms and all that stuff. Well, let me tell you something. You need to leave one of these days out now, because it's here. It's happening as we're sitting here. We're sitting here talking about fighting mosquitoes, and all I know is my advice to anyone is to study the Bible and try to understand and find out who Jesus Christ is, what he done for you, and what will happen without him to you. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe. I might say something else. You never know. Anyway, let's get to looking at this irrelevant. Listen, I've been sitting out here, no mosquitoes has bit me. No mosquitoes has bit me. I don't think one's even landed on me since I fired that up. It's still smoking. Got plenty of fuel left. Plenty of fuel left. It's good to get out like this, outside, out in the woods. One of the biggest distractions I've got here, unless I go over the mountain to the other side, I hear traffic on the highway down here. Traffic. Sometimes it ain't bad. Sometimes it's loud. A lot of ambulances, a lot of loud trucks, a lot of motorcycles that shouldn't be on the road. And distractions. When I get in the woods, I like it peaceful and quiet. Sometimes you have to travel way out. But you can get right up here and go over the top of the crown of the mountain here to the other side, just around the hillside. And it puts you from being on this side away from with the highway to the other side where there's an old country road. You might see a truck ease through or a car, but you can't hardly even hear them. Cows a bellering, dogs, a few dogs bark. Most time you can hear a leaf drop. You know, I've thought for years, but I always thought with all these satellites it's in the air, Musk putting up in the air satellites, and there's thousands, I guess, up there, thousands, that when we talked on a telephone, I mean, years ago, there used to be a delay. If you talked to someone in another country, there was a little delay. You had to give it a few seconds before your voice would go and come. Well, today, it's true, real to life. I mean, instant practically. When you're speaking, I mean, they're hearing you, and when they speak, I mean, there's no delay there. I always thought that satellites and all that stuff, I thought that's what the satellite's done, is relayed the messages. I don't understand it. I don't know. To a certain degree, I still say it does. I'm going to say the satellites is up there for entertainment and for government functions. That's what I'm going to say they're really there for. I find out that, and of course I'd heard rumors of this, what I'm fixing to say, about cables, underwater cables running all over the world from country to country, undersea. I would assume, and I don't know, I would assume it's fiber optics. I don't know. As your internet ever went out, have you ever lost service to the internet? And you get up and you thought, well, I'm going to go in there to the computer and I'm going to look something up. I'm going to sit there and do a little research, and I'm going to get on there and order something from Amazon or somewhere and have it shipped to me. You get to the internet and it's dead as a doornail. Well, why don't you go ahead and fix your chainsaw, or fix your lawnmower, or fix your boat motor, or fix your jet engine, or whatever you're working on, and without even going to the internet to start with? Because the world of information is on that internet, and it's practically right there for anybody to glean what they will. So when you go and your internet's down and all at once it's there, why don't you go ahead and fix your lawnmower and stuff? Why don't you go ahead and overhaul your motor or whatever you're doing? Did you ever think that what if it don't come back on? I'll tell you what, we'll go from a country of brilliant minds to a bunch of complete idiots overnight one of these days when that internet goes down, and me included. If that internet goes out, so does about 85% of your mind, your ability to do things, because it's always there and people take it for granted. If we have a war, and we will, but if they take down our internet service, which basically, that's why the satellites, I think, is up there. If they take that down and destroy our ability to log on and get onto the internet, and I'm talking not myself, I'm talking about hospitals, I'm talking about power companies, water companies, I'm talking about military, I'm talking about airlines, you know. I was down here and I got a load of stuff in one day, fencing material, and I asked the driver, I said, how do you, what kind of map do you use? I wasn't thinking. When I drove a truck years ago, we ran McNally Trucker's Atlas. That's what I used. You had to buy them. They wasn't cheap. And of course you had to buy updated whenever so often because they'd change roads or whatever. And I said, you got a Trucker's Atlas in there? And he said, no. I said, well, how do you find your way around? He held his cell phone up. I said, what if your cell service goes out? And he said, well, I said, my advice to you is buy you a Trucker's Atlas. Put it in your satchel. And I said, if something happens to your phone, you've got that Trucker's Atlas. But I wonder if they even would know how to read one. I mean, if you don't use it, you don't know. Anyway, if that line gets cut, and I understand the way I understand it, that the majority of information goes through that under the ocean, under the sea cables, we're going to take a few back steps. So I told my son the other day, I said, there's all kind of ebooks and stuff that you can download. And I said, you know, if you've got to get you a external SD, little external 2 terabytes or 4 terabyte SD external drive. And I said, organize stuff, you know, alphabetize or whatever your stuff you put in there. And I said, download every ebook that you can find, whether it's interesting to you, anything, how to fix a refrigerator, how to fix this, how to fix a lawnmower, how to do this, whatever that you can get by the tons. Just fill that SD card completely up. And if the internet was to ever go down and stay down, then you can pop that little external hard drive and just keep right on trucking. You'll have tons of information. You can have more information for yourself by doing that than you could write with your pencil in probably a lifetime. Just by clicking and downloading, clicking, downloading, clicking, downloading, clicking, downloading, making sure it's stored on that little external SD card. SSD, solid state device, or whatever it's called, SSD. Solid state drive, I guess is what it is. I don't know. I've got 3 of them. And I've got a lot of them old books and stuff that I've downloaded over the years and stuff. And you think, well, you know, honeybees, how to grow a garden, whatever. You're building a library. And a smart person would have 2 of them. Everything that's on this one would be on this one. In case this one crashed or went out, get a backup. Okay, I've sat here again and no mosquitoes have bit me, and I'm sitting out here in a mosquito infested part of the woods. And I have to draw the conclusion that this little thing that I'm fixing to turn off right there, it's off now, OFF, works. But I'm not done testing this. The next test I do, I want to be where the mosquitoes, where you can't beat them off of you. And that might be on a good still night. Just have to go out and sit down. Take this with you, go out and sit down, and just wait till they start eating you up. And then when they start biting you, and you know they're biting you, fire this up and see if you get any more bites. Anyway, I never could just talk about one thing. I'll jump like a jackrabbit from one path to the other. So maybe we can get this edited. We're worrying about using this to keep the mosquitoes from sucking your blood. And the best thing to do while you're doing this is to keep in mind who shed their blood to keep you out of a hot, hot place. So a good idea might be to do a little research on that man. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's get our little milk crate and head back to the house. I'm going to say that I ain't bit the mosquito yet, and they was on me. Now I may get bit before I get back to the house. Yes, sir. What's this called? This is called a Thermacell. And the other part's called the Holy Bible, King James Version. We're gonna roll or walk. Okay, that'll be it.